secret?
Well, I think I was brought up with it. My mother, I never realized what a good cook she was. She had, everything she had was fresh that she prepared, and it was very tasty. I didn't realize how good it was until we brought the three-star chefs from France here. And I, wait a minute, my your mother cooked, had the flavor and all was so good. Now really, although they use a lot more butter, a lot more cream, in spite of that, she had the natural foods and all, more like the California cuisine that we have today, you know, the natural products and all that. Well, to me, she was exceptional. So therefore, I learned from the beginning, and even in clothes, she was able to buy, even though she was not wealthy by any means, but she bought good things. So instinctively, I was brought up that way. So I have to give credit to my parents and the way I was brought up, and instinctively, I guess I just had that from the beginning. Well, I always wanted to excel in anything I did.
Well, in your book, you also said that you eat 3 meals a day, and you make a point of saying 3 full meals a day.
I used to eat 3 big full meals a day up until the last 3 or 4 years when I got to about 80, well, the last year or two. Now my breakfasts are much lighter, and I have a big lunch, a pretty big lunch, but I don't finish everything as much as I used to because I can't. I'm not as active, but I taste a little of everything.
That's great. That's really great. Moderation is the key, just as Julia's child says.
That's right.
And I'm sure when you were a child even, you had wine with dinner? Did your family have wine with dinner?
When I was 3 or 4 years old, my mother served me with wine and water. And then eventually I drank it without wine and water as I grew up. And I was amazed. And I looked at wine as a liquid food at home. When I went to Stanford, I was dumbfounded. We went what you call these beer busts, you know what I mean? And I was dumbfounded. At least 30 to 35% of the people would abuse it, would get inebriated. I mean, they would drink, and I said, wait a minute. And these people would have headaches and yet they would continue doing that. I said, are these people civilized? It's amazing how people do not know how to consume in moderation alcoholic beverages especially, but wine is healthy and good for you in moderation.
Definitely.
For most people, without a doubt.
But I think also what you say in the book is you have to listen to your body. You know, there's so many programs out there, Jenny Craig and just diet programs, but all you do is you eat, and when you're not hungry anymore, you stop eating.
That's right. In fact, what I've learned, and I know my wife said, "Oh, don't eat this or that." I said, but I enjoy it, you know, and here I am in very good shape, and physically. Mentally, maybe my memory is not quite as good by no means as it was. As you get to be about 85 years old, it's amazing. Your memory begins to fade a bit. More so than, and also physically, I'm not as strong as I was. I can't eat as much. But physically, I feel every bit as good, and I feel very alert about everything, except that I'm toning down a bit.
Well, that's important to do from time to time. In terms of the wines, the reason I want to ask you that was because right now we have so many different vintage and varieties. So when you pair food with wine, you're always thinking, if it's chicken, then I'll pair it with this. Now, when you're growing up, most families then just had the same wine every night, right? Not depending.
We had red wine. In fact, at home, always red wine, you know. And so I was accustomed to that. So when you get accustomed to certain things like that, people say, wait a minute, that the red wine you should have with red meat, and the white wines with fish and white meat. Well, however, may I say, 30 years ago, I would say that was true because the red wines were more tannic. They were, and they weren't as smooth and as well as harmonized as they are today. Now they're in harmony. Now you take our white wines too. Our white wines now have much more body. And they're much fuller. Well, right now I can take our red wines because they're so gentle. I can have them with fish, or I can take my white wines, which have much more, considerable more body than they used to have, and I can have it with red meats and all, and I can feel very satisfied. But so, however, by and large, you're better off in having your red wines with meats and with highly seasoned things than your white wines. But I say drink what you like, like what you drink. And to me, I can drink both red and white wines with different dishes now. So I'm not as fussy about that. And I don't want the American public or anyone to feel that I only can have this wine with that. If you like it, drink it.
Well said. Thank you so much for being on the show. And Ron, can you